Alright, and welcome back. Today we're going to do another lesson about factoring, but this time we're going to talk about factoring trinomials where a is equal to 1. So where they get that a equals 1 is that when you label this quadratic with a, b, and c. So we would say a, b, c, and all of these essentially would be listed that way, a, b, c. So that's a vital part of doing this factoring strategy and method that I'm about to use to factor all 4 of these expressions. So next we want to identify that a is equal to 1 for all of these. There's 1 because the coefficient of x squared is 1. Now the method that I'm going to use here is where I'm going to multiply a and c, and once I multiply a times c, I want the factor pair of whatever that product is to equal b. So it would be better if I just go ahead and jump in. So for this first one, a times c is equal to positive 1 times negative 18, which is negative 18. Now I want the factor pairs of negative 18, and I want to factor it and then find the pair that equals, when I add them together, it equals negative 3, which is b. So this would be 18 and 1, or excuse me, 1 and 18. One could be negative, another one could be positive. And then 2 and 9, and we're going to write that 2 times. One could be negative, then the other one could be negative. And then 3 and 6, and 3 and 6. So negative 3, negative 6. And that will be it. So now we want to go through and see which ones, when we add them, when we add these factor pairs, which one equals positive 3. So, well, excuse me, negative 3. This is going to be positive 17. This is negative 17, positive 7, negative 7, positive 3, negative 3. We want the ones that make negative 3, so we're going to be using positive 3 and negative 6, because when you combine those two, it makes negative 3. Now, we can go ahead and simply, these are going to be the factors that we use to factor this trinomial here. So we're simply going to write x plus 3, x minus 6. And that will be it. That we factored it. We're done. Now let's go ahead and take a look at number 2. So number 2, we would just do the same thing. A times c, which in this case is positive 1 times positive 10, that's 10, and we want the factor pairs that make negative 7. So it's positive 1, positive 10, negative 1, negative 10, 2 and 5, and that would be it. Okay, and positive 2 and negative 2 and negative 5, and positive 2 and positive 5. Now we want to see which ones add to equal negative 7. Well, that's positive 11, negative 11, negative 7, and positive 7. And we want the ones that make negative 7. Alright, because remember, we want a times c, and which equal, and after we factor a times c, we want the factor pair that equals b. So in this case, it was negative 2 and negative 5. So when we write the factor pairs here, this is going to be x minus 2 times x minus 5. And we're done. Let's take a look at number 3. Number 3, once again, we'll do the same thing. We're going to have a times c, which is equal to positive 1 times negative 50. And now we have to factor negative 50. So 1 and 50, 1 and 50, 2 and 25, 2 and 25. What else? 5 and 10. 5 and 10. Now, in order for it to be negative, one number in each pair has to be negative. So we did that, and now we want to go ahead and combine them and find the pair that gives us a positive 5. So this is negative 49, positive 49, negative 23, that's a 3, positive 23, that's going to be negative 5. This is going to give us positive 5. So we're going to use the negative 5 and the positive 10. So our factor pairs here would be x minus 5 times x plus 10. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the last one, number 4. So for number 4, we're going to do a times c again, which is equal to 1 times positive 5. That's, 1 times positive 10, which is positive 10. And that's 1 and 10, 1 and 10, 2 and 5, and 2 and 5. And there can be negative, negative, and negative, negative there. And now we want to go ahead, and the reason those can be negative, just to clear that up, a negative times a negative is a positive, just like a positive times a positive is a positive. Now when we add them, this is positive 11, that's negative 11, positive 7, negative 7. We want the ones that make positive 11, which is the positive 1 and the positive 10. So that's going to give us x plus 1, x plus 10. And that is one method and one strategy for factoring trinomials.